Hey, Gary.
Hey, good call on the not doing this outdoors.
You can thank my wife for that. She's always got an eye on the weather.
Good for her.
Hey,
I never could conquer that song, and but I think I'm going to try it anyway. That if we were vampires.
oh,
So
excellent. Let me pull it up.
if you
Yeah, I've got it somewhere.
right, well, yeah,
We lost Beth.
I can't do
Oh,
the voice and I can't play it very. Yeah, it's a nice little morbid love song.
I love the title. And I actually went and listened to
Vampires.
it, but it's been a while. So,
Well, I don't recommend it anytime near when I'm going to do it. So.
all right.
This is book.
Are we on?
We're on.
One of the nice things about meeting in person is going to be my internet won't be unstable then while we're meeting.
You have the worst internet
Your voices
connection.
come and go.
Why do you think that is?
I really do, right?
Who's your internet
Um,
provider?
I think I live in a cell hole here. I have
We can't hear you.
You're frozen up.
AT&T.
Oh yeah, I have AT&T. They're not great, but they're not as big. Mine's not as bad as yours.
I think you might be just too far from your Wi-Fi router.
To put another
We had to put a
Thing.
repeater in,
repeater
right
in
there
our
next
house
to
so
me,
it would
so.
be working.
and then we strung Ethernet cables.
Yeah. But now it's working.
Hey, Chris, welcome to the group.
Hang on, I was muted. Hi.
Hey. So I guess I'll give you a little norm. So we were gonna meet in person for the first time in over a year tonight, but we decided to hold off because of the weather. But so in
And
the
it did
Zoom,
rain. Did you notice?
yeah,
It did
Where
rain.
you were?
I
It
got
did rain
some rain.
here anyway.
Yeah.
It's here too.
So in the Zoom format, the way we've been doing it is sort of an open mic thing where anybody who wants to, and it's not a requirement, will play a song. If they planned ahead, they'll send me the music and I'll put it on the screen, and that person will play while everybody else is muted, and you can play along or just listen. And I guess that's it in a nutshell. Did I miss anything?
Beer break.
We have a beer break. Yeah. So after a while, we get tired of playing and we have to stop and drink beer. And I guess that's about it. All right. Anybody else have any business to take care of before we start?
What, are we gonna, your email said something about going over songs for the.
Gary, can you turn up your mic?
Oh, you can't hear us. Okay, I wondered about that. I wonder what's going on.
I don't know.
So you can't hear us?
That's better.
I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Okay, okay. Anyway, you had mentioned something about going over songs for the memorial service.
Yeah, it seems like Marty's taking charge of that, so I'll let him
Oh, okay.
comment on
Let
it.
Marty talk.
Okay.
Well, I've gathered up a few songs, and what I thought we might do tonight, for somebody who didn't have a song and felt like it, just throw up the PDF and give it a shot. You know, I've just been doing Trouble in Mind, by the way, and that's unplayable, I think. I need to work.
That's a great
I
song.
like that one.
Unplayable? That's a great song.
Yeah, I think I played that once.
Yeah, and so did
So
we.
did we.
Yeah.
I need to work on where the chords, where they change and all.
What
Mhm.
key? Isn't that a blues tune? I mean, what
Yeah.
key is it in?
It is
What key are we playing it in?
G.
Looks like it's in.
In C, I think.
Looks like
I thought it was in G.
it's in G.
In G? Okay.
The version I've got here handy is in G.
One more.
That's a great tune.
That's not a very good key for me,
Ah.
but
We have it in
Work
D
on
Yeah,
for some reason.
what, Gary?
we have it in D
Yeah, D.
from
Well,
when we did
is
it.
that D or? It
says-
says D on the thing, but it's D7, G, C7, and G7.
That sounds like G to me.
Yeah, it does to me too.
What song are you referring to?
Trouble in Mind.
Trouble in Mind.
Oh, are we gonna do that one tonight?
Well,
Maybe.
what we're talking about, Mary Jane, was we've got a number of songs kind of queued up that I've circulated between Paul and Walter and I.
Uh-huh.
We talked about them last week, some of Kevin's favorite songs. And so I've got PDFs for them. And I think that the one for Trouble in Mind needs a lot of work. I got to work on it some. But I think that's a pretty good list of songs that we could try. Let me read them off to you. I've got Homegrown Tomatoes, we talked about last week.
Yeah.
One of Kevin's favorite songs.
Cornbread and Butterbeans. Dirty Old Town.
Oh, yeah.
And I threw in, for the memorial service, I think the last song would be nice, would be Happy Trails.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got I'll Fly Away. We've got the Nyquil Blues. And Paradise. And
That one.
Texas Cookin'. So to me,
Did
that's,
you say Texas Cooking?
yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I liked that one a lot.
so you decided not to do the Blitzkreig Bob. Something got booted out, it sounds like.
I think it was due to not remembering.
Yeah, I don't know.
know.
Well, those sound good. That's a lot more than you said we were gonna get to do. Do we still have to choose, or are we gonna do them all?
I would think we ought to be ready for four or five of them.
Mhm.
That's kind of the list to choose from.
Okay, 4 or 5. I had missed that point. How many we were shooting for?
Well, I'm just kind of guessing it would be reasonable.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's-
for this group, we could play music on the ukulele all night, but the people who are there, the drink beer club, may not care for that much ukulele music.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's kind of unusual that they wouldn't come to hear ukulele music.
Well, I think everybody has their limits, you know.
Yeah, well, what about the family? I mean, memorial services.
Oh, no, not another song.
Memorial services involve families, and sometimes families have completely different ideas about what's appropriate than this
I can-
deceased would.
I can.
However, if he comes from a ukulele household, we used to a lot of ukulele music.
I think that they know Kevin and they probably expect it. But
In fact,
yeah,
If they invited us, then they should figure that whatever they get, they ask for.
let me tell you, this memorial is being put on by a longtime friend of Kevin's named Steve Black. And Kevin and Steve used to work together years ago, and they've been friends ever since. And Steve Black and Karen Jolly. And so we've been specifically asked Steve asked us to pull together some songs to play ukulele songs. And what I'm advocating we do is the Tuesday ukulele group do a few songs, and then the Jen at the Austin Ukulele Society, that she's going to talk about getting some of the ensemble members from that group to play a few songs too. So not coordinated with Jen or Bob yet on that. I need to do that to make sure we're not crossing and playing the same songs for sure. And then how many songs do we need? So,
Well, I would send them plenty of the songs that we already have,
Right.
because those are the songs that we associate with Kevin.
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good list that y'all have made up of I think it's always better to have more than too few, since you can always not play
Yeah.
some you've got, but you can't
Right.
create more that are in good shape if you never practiced them.
Well, to your point, I'll put Blitzkreig Bob in there, and that'll round it out.
Yeah,
Then we
Yeah.
have to do it. We have to do Blitzkreig Bob,
We have to do it.
the Tuesday youth group song.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I remember it well. I was not one of the leaders or instigators of it.
That was totally his song. I think he liked the idea of an unexpected song, and a punk song would definitely fall in that category.
Well, we did that. I don't know if you remember that, but we did that at the at the beer place,
Yeah.
the Brutorium, and they liked it.
Yeah, I think it's a great choice, especially for a group with so much gray hair playing a loud
Yeah.
song, banging on a ukulele.
Bunch of old guys, playing that song.
You know, I hate to be the odd guy out here, but I don't know that song. Could someone play it?
Oh,
You know
wait.
it when you hear it.
Hold on, y'all. I have to kick Gary out of the group real quick. Let me.
That's your sign forever.
I mean, I've seen the word somewhere, but I don't know the song.
That was
I
a
don't know.
British
Well, it's the
impression.
Ramones,
Yeah.
and their
Hey ho, let's go.
guitar always sounds the same. It's just just like that.
What we did was the scratch sound, hey ho,
Oh, right. Yeah.
go, hey ho, let's go.
That'll be the part that I play.
Hey, Paul, do you have a copy of that?
Probably. Let me take a look.
Well, let's let Walter
It's in
play
the
it.
Tuesday Ukes book.
It's
Well,
the
I mean,
book
if
that we
everybody
used for
yeah,
the
that-
get together last
Right.
November.
Oh, right.
It's in
So
there.
Yeah.
let me see if I can find that.
Yeah, I don't think I have a copy of the Nyquil Blues because I don't recall us ever playing
don't
that
have
at
that either.
Hancock. I thought that was
So
something
we
that they
just
worked up
played
in a
it at the
band.
Auditorium about 1,000,000 times.
I heard y'all do it at the Austin Ukulele Society one time.
Oh, that's right, we did.
So I heard it, but I was definitely not part of playing it.
Well,
I didn't have anything to do with it, she says.
What I'm advocating we do is, once we kind of agree to this list, I'll send out an email with all the PDFs, so
Cool.
everybody will have all the music.
Yeah.
What we ought to do is you send out a list of 10 songs, and then all of us pick 6 or 7, something like that.
Yeah,
Then
that's the
that
way
way we
Kevin
can
used to
whittle
do it.
down and have ones that everybody or most people have got.
And maybe we should do the whittling a little closer when we've practiced them a little bit, to see how they turn out.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, okay. It's-
None of them are that hard. So I think that
I think,
any of us could,
yeah,
easily learn them.
I agree.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Oh, the Ramones. Good.
Yep.
Okay, Walter, you're up.
Okay.
Everybody mute.
Hey, ho, let's go. Hey, ho, let's go. Hey, ho, let's go. They're forming in a straight line. They're going in a tight line. The kids are losing their minds in the Blitzkreig Bob. They're piling in the back seat. They're generating steam heat. They're pulsating to the backbeat. The Blitzkreig Bob. Hey, ho, let's go. Shoot 'em in the back now. What they want, I don't know. They're all revved up and ready to go. Forming in a straight line. They're going through a tight line. The kids are losing their minds in the Blitzkreig Bob. They're piling in the back seat. They're generating scene heat. Pulsating to the backbeat. The Blitzkreig Bob. Hey ho, let's go. Hey ho, let's go. Hey ho, let's go. There you go.
Good job,
That
Walter.
sounds like it.
Not left out.
Got to be ready to play really fast.
Really?
Yeah.
But weren't we supposed to do an extra chorus before that last hey ho?
I don't know. I don't actually remember that well.
Well,
So
it's on the sheet, you know.
Probably, yeah.
That's what we were looking at was the sheet, and it says
Oh.
chorus down there before the last hey ho's.
Yeah.
And it makes it a longer song.
Maybe we can get a PDF that actually prints the chorus the second time. This one just says repeat it, and I failed to scroll backwards.
Yeah, well, we're used to everything being printed out, so it's easy to miss something like that. Is
Yeah.
true.
and we
I'll
want
take
it
care of that.
printed out easy.
I practiced it on my own before we came, so I was ready for it.
No, I wrote a couple of titles and I asked Walter to help remind me what some of the other titles that he did, and we came up with a list, but apparently neither one of us remembered Blitzkreig Bob, but it definitely needs to be in there.
Oh, we had talked about it earlier, and I figured
Oh, I
that
know.
you were going to add it.
We definitely talked about it, but neither one of us brought it up when I was pulling the list together.
I see.
So I guess what I would think we could do is let's do the best that we can to finalize the PDFs, mail them out to everybody. And then if we ever get together at Oscar Blues or some other place, let's use that and practice there with
Good.
that, so we can do a better
That
job.
would be good.
Idea.
Yeah. Well, let's try to get through them all tonight. We should be able to. There's not that many of them. We just go one right after the other.
Works for me.
Good for me.
Okay,
Is it in there?
No.
let's
No,
see.
I think it's on there.
Yeah, I think it is too.
My screen is frozen. Can anyone hear me?
It's in the big book though.
Mine was frozen earlier and I had to go back and reboot my laptop.
I think I may. So you can hear me, I guess.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Just fine.
All right, everyone is frozen, but I can hear you. I have no cursor control over here.
I'll pull up, I'll fly away, and I'll start it.
I'm working on it. I got to download it real quick.
You can let me have the screen.
Hold on a second. I'm almost there. All right. I'll fly away. Oh wait, did I share the whole screen? That's probably too tiny, right?
Yeah.
That worked.
Start again.
I don't know. It's okay.
At least I could read it.
I could read it.
Oh, all right. I
My
guess I
eyes
did it
aren't
right.
that good.
Well, that's better, actually. Thank
The
you.
chorus is printed out.
That's even
yeah.
better.
Thank you.
Sure.
Somebody's starting.
Am I doing it?
You volunteered, so yeah.
Go
Well,
for
I
it,
heard somebody
Marty.
playing. I thought maybe they wanted to.
I'm
Thought
supposed
that
to
was
be
you.
muted.
I was just making an F chord.
Well, F chord, huh?
All right.
I mean,
Everybody
I'll do
mute
it
but
if you
Marty.
want.
Sorry, corny jokes. Some bright morning when this life is old, I'll fly away to that home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have gone, I'll fly away. Like a bird from these prison walls I'll fly. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I hallelujah by and by. I'll fly away. Now glad and happy to be. I'll fly away. No more cold iron shackles on my feet. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joys will never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. I'll fly away.
Good.
Gotta do that one. That's a great one.
Oh, there's instructions. I wanted to scroll back because I missed them. Let's see. Ending repeat chorus, second time, repeat last line, tremolo. Okay, that sounds good.
That would have been better.
Well, that was great. I think that's a good song because it's just a handful of chords and none of them are terribly hard.
It seems like it's well suited for Marty's voice. Were you comfortable singing it, Marty?
Not as comfortable as I am singing anything.
Were you singing it really fast or was it, it's just the computer? Because it seemed like you were just speeding right through it.
Well, to me, that's a fast song.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was singing it.
Walter, we can't hear you.
Pretty fast.
Walter, we can't hear you.
You're
Walter.
muted, Walter. There
Yeah,
you go.
that is a fast song.
Yeah.
It is, okay.
I was gonna play. I was gonna pull up Homegrown Tomatoes, but it's Marty. It's one you need to fill in the chords for.
It's like the easiest bunch of chords in the world.
I'm sorry. C, F, G 7, 12. You want me to do that one?
Sure.
Or I can do it if you want. It's like super easy.
All
Go
right.
ahead, Walter.
Uh,
Let me explain something to everybody. This, Kevin and I went through a kick of trying to remember chords by their numeric numbers. So you could call out a key and just go for it, you know. C, F, and G 7th in the key of C, or G, C, D 7th in the key of G, that kind of thing. So we did it in this form, but I will redo that in whatever key we decide to do it. You want to try it in C, Walter, and see if you like it?
Yeah, this is like my life. It's the story time chords, the ones I always sang with kids. And the thing you have to remember is the first line and the last line are C. The second line is F, and the third line is G7. So it goes like homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What it might be without homegrown tomatoes. Only two things money can't buy. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes. Nothing in the world that I like better than bacon and lettuce and homegrown tomatoes. Up in the morning, out in the garden, pick you a ripe one, don't get a hard one. Plant them in the spring, eat them in the summer. Winter without them's a culinary bummer. I get all about the sweating and the digging. Every time I go out and pick me a biggin. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes. I've been out to eat, and that's for sure. Nothing that homegrown tomato won't cure. Put them in a salad, put them in a stew. You can make your very own tomato juice. You can eat them with eggs, you can eat them with gravy. You can eat them with beans, pinto or navy. Put them on the side, put them in the middle. Homegrown tomatoes on a hot tin griddle. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes. If I could change this life I lead, I'd be Johnny Tomato Seed. I know what this country needs. Homegrown tomatoes in every yard you see. When I die, don't bury me in a box in a cemetery. Out in the garden would be much better, where I could be pushing up the homegrown tomatoes. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
Now, Walter, I got to ask you. Did you
That's a
use
fun
the word-
song.
Did you use the word tomato on purpose there?
That's what
Somebody
Kevin told us
else
to
used
do.
to use
Yeah.
tomato
Yes,
in
we
That-
the song.
That
A
was
certain person
Kevin.
did not.
Kevin wanted us to say tomato.
Yeah, that was Kevin's line. Tomato
Right.
juice.
Kevin's line.
What was the other one?
Culinary.
Culinary. Yes.
Culinary bummer.
Culinary bummer.
I love that one.
Mary Jane, you want to play Texas Cookin' for us? You're muted. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Mary Jane, if you need us to explain the chords.
I practiced it
Really
and I
tough.
wasn't sure if my my
Sorry.
version, my tune was right, you know, because there's no chords to guide you. It's just all. I could give it a shot if you want somebody to.
I think that'd be great. I don't remember the melody. I'm sure I'll recognize it immediately, but I didn't practice it. So
Well, that's the thing. If this melody seems a little strange, it's because I've had to do some improvising. Chords are great though.
chords are great.
What's those changes?
And they say it starts on D, so that's a good thing. I'm going down to Austin, Texas. I'm going down to save my soul. Get that barbecue and chili, eat my fill and come back home. I'm gonna take my baby with me. We're gonna have a high old time. We're gonna eat till we get silly. Sure to make a beer taste fine. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking something? Oh, my mama, and stop your belly and backbone bumping. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking good? Oh, my mama, eat it every day if I could. I know a man that cook armadillo, tastes so sweet he calls it pie. I know a woman makes fine dulce, tastes so good it gets you high. Get them enchiladas greasy, get them steaks, chicken fried. Sure do make a man feel happy. See white gravy on the side. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking something? Oh, my mama, and stop your belly and backbone bumping. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking good? Oh, my mama, eat it every day if I could. I know a place that got fried okra, beat anything I ever saw. I know a man that cooked cabrito, it must be against the law. We're gonna get a big old sausage, a big old plate of red style beans. I could eat the heart of Texas. We're gonna get some brand new jeans. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking something? Oh, my mama, it's up your belly and backbone bumping. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking good? Oh, my mama, eat it every day if I could. So did that sound anything like the
Yes.
Yeah.
That was good.
Great job. Great job.
Yeah, excellent.
When in the classes that we did, I'm not muted. Good.
You're not muted.
We used to do that song all the time. I think
Yeah.
sometimes he used to sing it like every day. And so I developed a harmony for the choruses. And it went like, oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking something? And I can't see the lyrics, so I can't remember what the rest of them were.
Yeah.
But it was,
Did
oh,
you try it out with me? Did it harmonize with me?
Pardon me?
Did it harmonize with me?
Yes, it would have. If I
Had you tried it? Yeah. Well, you should
Oh,
try
yeah,
it
yeah.
because you can tell. You know, if you're
We don't
singing
need
on
dirty old
Zoom.
pound or
You know.
cornbread.
If you could put the lyrics back up.
Sure. Wait a minute, I gotta find the
That's
song.
not gonna work. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, hold on.
All right. The way that I would harmonize would be, oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking something? Oh, my mama, it'll stop your belly and backbone bumping. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking good? Oh, my mama, eat it every day if I could.
It sounds like they'd go together.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, it sounded great.
I used to sing it with Kevin like every week.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, so I must be fairly close, at least on the
Oh yeah.
chorus to the tune. I've heard it sung. It's just that I've never had the responsibility of the lead, and there I was trying to practice it at home. So I did practice it and knew something to sing, whether it was right or not.
Does anybody want to? Yeah, that sounded great. Thank you. I was just downloading another song. Does anybody want to take a stab at leading us through this one? There you go. All right, Gary and Paulette volunteer.
Great.
Oh, we weren't muted. I thought we were still muted. Oh, well.
You sounded good.
All right. Do we even know this song?
Well, we did it
Well,
with Kevin. I remember.
Paulette knows it.
Oh, we used to sing this all the time.
Cornbread, Butterbeans, and you across the table, eating them beans and making love as long as I am able, growing corn and cotton too, and when the day's over, ride the mule and cut the fool, and love again all over. Goodbye, don't you cry, I'm gone to Louisiana, buy a corn dog and a big fat hog, and marry Susiana. Sing song, ding dong, I'll take a trip to China. Cornbread and butter beans and back to North Carolina. Cornbread and butter beans and you across the table, eating them beans and making love just as long as I am able, growing corn and cotton too, and when the day is over, ride the mule and cut the fool, and love again all over. Wearing shoes and drinking booze goes against the Bible. A necktie will make you die and cause you lots of trouble. And street cars and whiskey bars and kissing pretty women. Women, yeah, that's the end of a terrible beginning. Cornbread and butter beans and you across the table, eating them beans and making love just as long as I am able, growing corn and cotton too, and when the day is over, ride the mule and cut the fool, and love again all over. I can't read and I don't care, and education's awful. Raising heck and writing checks, it ought to be unlawful. Silk hose and frilly clothes is just a waste of money. Come with me and stay with me and say you'll be my honey. Cornbread and butter beans and you across the table, eating them beans and making love as long as I am able, growing corn and cotton too, and when the day is over, ride the mule and cut the fool, and love again all over.
That's a great song.
Good job.
Ah, that was good.
So I have a question, or a couple of questions. I don't even know if you want to hear my comments, because I wasn't here last week at book club, and I won't be at the celebration of Kevin's life because I'll be on the road. But so that said, did you all talk about making this a sing-along for the people that are there, maybe somehow?
Well, I was just thinking the same thing. Marty's got a projector and I think a screen.
That'd be great.
Got a projector.
He has Kevin's projector, doesn't he?
Yes, I've
'Cause
got
that would be
Kevin's-
great.
I've got Kevin's projector, but I don't have a screen.
Oh, okay.
I have a screen.
Gary's got a screen.
But it's not a big one. It's, you know, the old 1950s, 1960s, 40-inch or so.
Well, I bet that'll be enough. The close people can read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if not, we can put it on the wall somewhere. I
Yeah.
bet
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, Barbara.
Oh, good.
Problem is at the Catfish Parlor, the walls are completely covered with old retro ads and things.
That's
Oh.
the reason why we need the screen.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
That's the reason for the screen.
I know. It would have to be a screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can bring this.
Well, this is of course more work, but the other idea is to have songbooks. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more work.
yeah, I know.
A
And
screen would be the best idea if it's possible.
Is it in a special room?
It's just
Like
one big
morning
room,
room?
isn't it?
Yeah, the Catfish Parlor is one big room.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't been there in 25 years.
It's exactly the same.
I used to eat there all the time before COVID.
Yeah, it hadn't changed in 25 years.
I think I was there once.
Okay,
If we're
now,
If we're gonna.
I
project
think
it
my
on a
ideas are
screen-
going, I think my ideas are going downhill, but can you use a white sheet for a screen?
No.
No.
Not very easily.
Ripple. Anyway, say what you're saying.
Yep. We,
We could need.
I thought for sure that Kevin had a screen, unless he gave it away to
I had
somebody
a
else.
screen, but I don't have it.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, if we're gonna project it on a screen, we need to have a source. So I know Kevin used an iPad. And
I
then
think
he-
you missed the part we talked about a little bit ago.
Oh, okay,
I have Kevin's old
Yes, that's a
projector
real projector.
right,
and I have an iPad,
okay.
Okay,
so we
And
can
you
hook it
have on
together.
song, so it'll scroll,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, okay.
I haven't done it, but that's homework for me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
And we know how well you do though. That last video for the Ukulele Society was amazing, Robbie.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
yeah, that was great.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, Marty, you ought to actually plug in that projector. Make sure you got the right cables and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Good thing.
Dry run, dry run.
Practice.
I'll make a dry run over here. I'll have Linda watch it and sing with me.
We're in here now.
All right, sounds good.
It's 'cause we're close to the door.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's one of the other songs?
Dirty Old Town.
Oh yeah, I've got
Dirty
that.
Old Town is the classic.
Yeah.
Volunteers to play it.
Do you have it up?
It's coming up now.
I don't know this.
I don't remember how it starts.
Did anybody else volunteer other than me?
I can do it too.
Just me. All right.
All right, Mary Jane's gonna do it.
Hey, wait, how about this idea? How about if Mary Jane and I alternate?
What? Okay, it's fine with me. What are you gonna do? Where are you gonna switch?
Let me take it from Clouds Are Drifting.
So you want to sing, you
Completely
sing a verse, me
different.
sing a
Every
verse?
other verse.
Well, we were talking about maybe trying that last week. Did we try that on this?
Well,
one?
let's try it. See how it works.
Walter, you want to do one with the kazoo? You did it, didn't you, with the kazoo?
I mean, I always can. I'm always happy to do the kazoo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
so
let me know.
I like to have the last verse. Well, I can't see what you've got, but the version I've got has, yeah, see, they change chords in the last, and that makes a nice verse for a kazoo because it's a little longer. And so
I'll do where it says instrumental break.
yeah, just play that last verse and it's a little bit longer and has a few more chords, so it's more interesting.
It's interesting. I have the song, but it's a completely different set of chords.
Yeah,
Well, when we first got it, it was in a different key. I think I have a version that's in A.
Well, this is one of your versions also, Mary Jane.
Oh, this is my version. Yeah, well, I just changed the key, you know,
Well, I
because I got what Kevin had and I really liked the song, so I switched the key so that I could sing it better. So I hope that doesn't mess Marty.
Well, I'll try to wing it. Paula, the one with the D in it is in that stuff I sent you today. So,
Yeah, I could pull that up too.
no, that's all right. That's all right. Let's go with Mary Jane's and we'll work on it. I'll take
Okay.
it. The clouds are drifting and then we'll alternate, okay?
Okay. I'm going to do that intro. I think you just kind of play the chords. Do you have any other way to play that intro other
I
than
think that's
that?
good enough.
Okay, I'll do it again then. By the gasworks wall, dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town.
Outlaw drifting across the moon. Cats are prowling on their beat. Springs a girl on the streets at night. Dirty old town. Dirty old town.
I heard a siren from the docks. Saw a train set the night on fire. I smell the spray on the smoky wind. Dirty old town, dirty old town.
Gonna make me big sharp axe, shining steel, tempered in the fire. I'll chop you down like an old dead tree. Dirty old town, dirty old town.
Walter. I met my love by the gasworks wall. Dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town. Dirty old town, dirty old town.
That's a really great song. That trading off verses worked out well. That sounded great.
Yeah, I was afraid maybe my playing was messing Marty up because this is Zoom and
Yeah, I think
the Zoom to contend with.
It's
I
hard
didn't
to
even
keep the
think
beat,
I
but I
didn't even
thought we
turn
did
on
a-
original sound. I forgot to do that even. So I've got it on now. Of course, I might not be leading any more
It
songs.
sounded good.
It sounded better though when you just now switched it.
Yeah.
Oh, you think it was better without the original
No,
sound?
it's better now.
The original
When you
sound
Oh,
sounds
better
switch.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the sound
and
is
I was
better.
I was hearing some static or echoes to earlier. But yeah, if we could do that,
Did
that
the
would.
kazoo work?
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Kazoo
kazoo
came through, yeah.
Okay. I was hoping I was on the beat.
But when we're together, it'll be easier
Oh,
and
yeah.
smoother.
All right, what else we got? We done cornbread, homegrown tomatoes, I'll fly away.
Happy trails.
Paradise was one of them.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's do that. I've got that one open, I think. Does anybody know it? I haven't listened to it again. I just remembered the lyrics, but I don't remember the verse.
That one I don't
See it.
remember.
I know it, but I don't know if you could stand to listen to me again.
Well, does anybody else want to play a song that happens to know this one, that is?
Well, I could play it and then we could put it in a different order so we don't have me playing too many things all at the same time. If nobody else wants to do it, it's pretty easy song.
Yeah, it's just a question of I don't remember the
We
melody.
don't know the tune though.
Yeah. All right, you do it, Mary Jane.
Okay. Nobody else is going to trade verses. What about a kazoo break? Is there a place on here where
Well,
'cause
after
I
I
can't
hear it
see.
a couple of times, I can play it.
We
When
can,
I was
yeah, where do you want your breaks? Because this doesn't seem to have any. And what
Just
about
pick a
after the
spot.
second chorus? After the second chorus, and
Is
at the
that after
end,
Mr. Peabody's Coltrane has hauled it
yeah,
away before verse 3? I can do that.
yeah, and then you could do one at the end.
Okay.
Okay, because it's all the same tune all the way through. Okay, let's see. When I was a child, my family would travel down to western Kentucky where my parents were born. There's a backwoods old town that's often remembered so many times that my memories are worn. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's Coltrane has hauled it away. Well, sometimes we travel right down the Green River to the abandoned old prison down by Adrie Hill, where the air smelled like snakes and we'd shoot with our pistols, but empty pop bottles was all we would kill. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's Coltrane has hauled it away. Then the coal company came with the world's largest shovel, and they tortured the timber and stripped all the land. Well, they dug for their coal till the land was forsaken, and they wrote it all down as the progress of man. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's Coltrane has hauled it away. When I die, let my ashes float down the Green River. Let my soul roll on up to the Rochester Dam. I'll be halfway to heaven with paradise waiting, just 5 miles away from wherever I am. river where paradise lay. Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauled it away.
Yeah, I never did
At the
that
end.
song until somebody starts singing it, and it's why don't you take me down to Muhlenberg County? I remember that part. Okay.
Yeah, it comes back quick. I've heard it many times, but I just couldn't think of it unprompted.
Now, are we going to be singing all together, or just one person going to sing every song, or different people singing each song
Well, if
by
we're going
themselves?
to be singing in purpose,
Brenda,
person,
we had it planned that you were going to be soloing on all of them.
Okay.
Well, is there going to be a microphone where somebody could go up and lead the song from a microphone? I mean, because that's worked well at the Kick Butt Coffee House in the past. And
Yes, we could consider that.
That sounds like more.
so we
equipment
really
around
hadn't given it much thought until this moment.
I figured we'd all
We're gonna
get
have
to
to rent a
shouting out.
rehearsal room somewhere.
That's right.
Well, maybe you all will get lucky and Bob will have some of these things like microphones and large white screens.
What does Bob usually do for these kind of things, Walter?
pardon me?
What does Bob usually do for these kind of things for the ensemble group?
I know we've had microphones for some of the things.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's going to want to bring them to this, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've got a microphone I could bring.
Then bring it.
It's a good idea.
I have a microphone and a mic stand also. We needed more. So we need to have something to plug them into. That's what I don't have.
Okay.
Well, let that percolate a little while.
Oh, whoops. I've got to go pick my wife up at the library. So I will be back shortly.
So have we done all the songs yet, or
We still need Happy Trails and Nyquil Blues.
oh, the Nyquil Blues.
Oh, the Nyquil Blues. We can't forget that. Don't sing Nyquil Blues until I get back.
Okay. So that means we'll do Happy Trails.
That sounds like
Well, we got
Happy
Walter
Trails.
on the queued up for NyQuil Blues, it sounds like.
I'll sing the Nyquil Blues. See you later. See you in a few minutes.
Where are we? I'm sure with one
Well,
other.
Paulette, you've been
Yeah.
calling for Happy Trails. What are you doing
Yeah,
there?
we could-
Okay, we can do Happy
Let's
Trails.
see if it's on here.
You're good at that one.
It is.
There it is. Okay.
Okay, so
Tell me when.
I'll just,
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and bring on sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Some trails are happy ones, others are blue. It's the way you ride the trail that counts. Here's a happy one for you. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing sing a song and bring on sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Till we meet again.
We'll have to figure out that part.
That sounded great to me.
Yeah, I like that song.
Channeling our inner
I noticed you sang it out of order from the song. Should I rewrite that one to make it like you sang it?
Oh, we did.
Everybody prefer it that way better?
I mean, this is the way we've got it printed from Kevin a long time ago.
Yeah, it's morphed. It's even morphed keys too. So there's no telling what you might have that's different than what Paul
Yeah.
found.
Well, that wasn't what Paul had on the
We have
screen.
printed.
What we have printed was what Kevin sent a long time ago,
Yeah,
and it says
and-
it's in the key of D.
Well, there's multiple versions.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, I like the way you sung it because that way the odd
Easy
verse
chords.
that nobody knows is in the middle of the two verses, and you don't have to just repeat the exact
Yeah.
same thing.
I agree. I
Oh,
thought
yeah, we don't start
Yeah.
out with that.
If I'm going to be providing stuff on the screen, I
Right,
want to make
right.
sure it's what you're expecting.
Right,
So
exactly.
I want to make sure we're in concert here.
Right.
Well, what I can do is I can
Why don't we
email
send-
you
Yeah, why
this.
don't we send that?
Yeah,
to
just
Marty?
email me that version. I'll make sure that's the one we got.
Email.
So I guess the only one left is Nyquil Blues. And
Yeah,
we're
we can't
waiting.
play that. Can't play
Have
that.
to wait for Mulder.
Can't play that till Walter gets back.
No problem. No problem. Does anybody have a song other than one of these that they want to play for the group?
Well, I sent you one.
Oh, right. What was it called?
And I
Yes, and I have one from
Brenda sent
Brenda.
one.
I sent you one as well.
I've got a million songs on tonight, so you're gonna have to give me a hint. Oh, Yeah,
I
let's
did
do-
Johnny
let's-
Cash song, Jackson.
yeah, that's the one I just found. So let's do that one.
Okay, we will try. Okay. Now, this is supposed to be a duet, but it's just me, myself, and I here, so we'll do the best we can. Okay.
Sing out of
Okay.
both sides of your mouth.
Yeah, well, we'll work on that. We'll work on that, Marty. Okay. We got married on Melodic Brown. Okay, I'm not doing this right. Give me a second here. I'm going to dance. Gonna mess around. Yeah, I'm going to Jackson. Going down Jackson. Going on Jackson. Going and break you down. No Jackson, comb your hair. Okay, this is just, I think I'm going to just leave it at that because I just can't get the beat on this. And we're going to leave it unfinished. Sorry.
Unfinished art is often great.
Great song though.
That was a good song.
Yeah. We'll do it better next time.
All right, I found yours, Mary Jane. Just a second.
Okay.
I can send you.
And mine's a Johnny Cash song too. So we certainly had the man in black on our minds today.
Well, I'm certainly hoping you do better than I did. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll try here. Oh, wait, I might do a kazoo on this one. So I'll put one on before I get started instead of my usual forgetting everything. Okay. I'd sing more about the moral of this land, but all God's children ain't free. I'd open up every door I can, 'cause all God's children ain't free. I met a beaten, broken man. He shovels dirt, but he got no land. And he held out his hand to me. All God's children ain't free. I'd sing along to a silly song, but all God's children ain't free. I'm gonna sing the blues for the men they done wrong, 'cause all God's children ain't free. Mister, how about the man you condemned to die by taking everything that he's living by? Reject him from society. All God's children ain't free. No, reject him from society. All God's children ain't free. I'd be happy walking any street, but all God's children ain't free. I'd have a smile for all I meet, but all God's children ain't free. I'd whistle down the road, but I wouldn't feel right. I'd hear somebody crying out at night from a sharecropper shack or penitentiary. All God's children ain't free. From a sharecropper shack or penitentiary. All God's children ain't free.
Oh, nice.
Good song, Mary Jane.
Yeah, that was a good song.
Yeah, I've been kind of hanging on to that one. For some reason, I just never did bring it out, but this seemed like a good time to bring it out because I was just going to bring one tonight. We had all this other stuff to practice.
Well, how about Ring of Fire?
Oh, yeah. Go for
Do you have the words and stuff to share?
Nah, I'm just teasing you.
We have
It's
it.
another Men in Black.
Yeah. Well, Walter isn't here to give his big speech. If every time somebody sings Ring of Fire, he gives a big speech. There he
What was
is.
there now?
Here.
Of course, now we can do the
Well, what was I
Nyquil
supposed to
blues.
speak about? Was there a speech?
Walter, your name was just mentioned. The last two songs were Johnny Cash songs. And I was
Oh,
teasing saying Ring of Fire, and Mary Jane said, "Whoa, you'll have something to say about that."
yeah.
There you go.
I don't know if that's the right key or not.
Sounds good.
All right, Walter, you were the one who was the most excited about Nyquil Blues. You want to lead this one?
Oh, I wasn't excited about Nyquil Blues.
Too late now. You're doing it.
let me get into it. I'm trying to remember everything about it. Let's see.
It's funny, I keep trying to make it go up with my mouse.
Oh, give me a bottle of NyQuil, the restful sleep my body needs. Bottle of NyQuil, the restful sleep my body needs. Analgesic decongestant with an antihistamine. I went to 7-Eleven. The man says, what do you need? I said, a roll of duct tape and a case of NyQuil, please. Give me a bottle of NyQuil. Restful sleep my body needs. Analgesic decongestant with an antihistamine. Take only as directed. Don't exceed the proper dose. Keep out of the reach of children. Keep the bathroom cabinet closed. Give me a bottle of NyQuil, the restful sleep my body needs. Analgesic decongestant with an antihistamine. They call me NyQuil junkie. I don't know what they mean, but I just can't be satisfied unless my tongue is green. Give me a bottle of NyQuil, the restful sleep my body needs. Analgesic decongestant with an antihistamine. Well, give me a bottle of NyQuil, the restful sleep my body needs. Give me a bottle of NyQuil, the restful sleep my body needs. Analgesic decongestant with an antihistamine. Let's see. Where's the chord? Something like that.
Yay.
Good, Walter.
Thank you.
Yeah, that sounded great.
I understand the NyQuil, but I still haven't figured out the duct tape part.
I think that's the joke. That's
Okay.
nonsense.
All right.
A nonsense shopping kit list. Okay, so we played a bunch of songs, and I think we've played all the ones that are on the list for Kevin's memorial.
Yeah.
Do we want to do a beer break and then come back and we can sing what other songs are remaining?
Sure.
All right, Marty.
I think
I have to be
we should break for a moment
I am.
for a refreshment break and then come back and play some more.
All right.
What were you about to say, Chris?
Said I have to be leaving,
Oh,
but I haven't played in a really long time, and I was a beginner to start off with anyway. So this kind of gave me an opportunity to just pull out my ukulele and play a little bit. So it's fun.
oh, great. This is a little different than our normal meetings, but it's not so different. You know, there's music on the screen, and you can play along to most of the songs that you'll see. So come back next week.
Yeah.
Well, next week we're going to try to meet live.
Okay.
So we won't be on Zoom next week, we hope.
Okay. But you send out an email to everybody anyway as far as what's happening next week.
Are you on the email list?
I am.
Okay, great.
I am. Okay. Awesome.
All right, have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. So Paul, do you think we're going to be pushing the Oscar Blues meeting to next week? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I guess we should talk about that, but
Yeah, we didn't actually decide on anything.
I kind of think that worked well if it doesn't rain.
yeah.
And now we've really got a mission to get together to be
Right.
able to play the songs for Kevin's memorial.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need some together time just for practicing these songs.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe between now and next week, we could put together a songbook of these songs instead of the one from 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really should all do them together.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, this
agree.
should be a group thing.
Is anybody, oh, excuse me, is anybody doing the blues workshop with Kevin Carroll this week? Besides,
I
Yeah,
thought it was
is
Little
that-
Rap.
That's tomorrow night, isn't it?
well,
is it
there's
Little
Little Rev, there are two things. There's the Little
Oh.
Rev, there's the Little Rev tomorrow night that Bob was talking about. Then Kevin Carroll has a blues workshop Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, kind of like the one he did last
Hear
year.
about that?
That with oh, come on, there's
With Bob.
Celtic, because Paul, you did that one, right?
Yeah,
The Celtic,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's the same thing, but it's on Zoom now. I'm going to do it, but I was wondering if anybody else is doing it.
I'll be
besides-
there.
Oh, you will. Good.
Said it's a blues workshop?
Yeah. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you'll be there, Paul. That's good. I don't know how he's going to do it, but
Well, I've been taking classes from him throughout the pandemic, and it's mostly him talking and you muted, and some, like for Ukestra meetings, the participants have played some so that he could give advice. In his workshops, he's done less of that because people are so reluctant to play for the group, and so he'll ask people to play and nobody will volunteer. So I'm guessing that it'll be a lot of him talking and not a whole lot of us playing, but we'll see. Mostly it will be playing but muted. It'll be also interesting to see how many people he rounds up for it. Because I was in one of his workshops that had a really good turnout. I don't know where he advertised because he had people from around the country and around the world. And then what was the most recent workshop? We did Gypsy Jazz, which was also good. He did two of those, and the first one had decent turnout, and the second one was kind of smaller. So I guess the second one really could not have had more than the first one did because it was sort of a carryover. And some of the people didn't carry over, so it necessarily got smaller. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it.
no, I am too. I'm looking forward to learning more about the blues also. I think that sounds like he's going to incorporate that. So
Workshop are you talking about?
Kevin Carroll, I was wondering who's doing Kevin. Are you doing that, Mimi?
No, but I've taken workshops with him, and yeah. Yeah, people tend to be shy about playing.
Well,
Is that true in his in-person workshops too, you think?
Less so.
Oh.
Less so, yeah.
And in the in-person workshops, everybody's playing together, and you're
Yeah.
not likely to be playing by yourself unless you're asking
Okay.
for some guidance on some point.
Yeah, so I've taken, improvisation ones where we take turns and stuff. Some of them, and then some of them you've been in one, I think, where we do arrangements and then we play our arrangements. You're muted, Paul.
I had forgotten about that workshop, but you're right. I
Yeah.
had been in one like that. Yeah, after all this time, you'd think I'd be better at the mute thing, but just like everybody else, I talk when I'm muted, and then
Yeah.
I'll talk when I think I'm muted, and that's even worse.
I know. I have to be really careful about that. Sometimes I've made mistakes.
Well, at least you probably don't get a newspaper article written about you, or it doesn't get put on,
No, I don't think
news.
that's likely to happen.
Yeah.
There are some kind of horrible Zoom recordings that have been posted on the internet of somebody who like is on the meeting with the phone and carries it in the bathroom, forgets the camera's running or something like that.
Yeah.
Or they forget that they're not wearing any pants.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, did people see that thing about the guy who was faking it out? He was driving his car.
Oh, right.
The only way they could tell was he had a fake background up, but he had a seatbelt on.
Right.
And so he was sitting in the chair, looked like, with his seatbelt on. And they could figure out that he was sitting in a car and driving at the same time that he was supposed to be in a meeting.
And the way I understand it, he was in a meeting to talk about distracted drivers.
Oh, good.
Now, I don't know if that was true or not, but that just sounds about right.
Sounds like it.
Well, there was one, I don't know if it was a put on or what, but the guy was supposed to be in court and he's a surgeon and he's operating on somebody and the judge is saying, you think maybe you should be paying attention to what you're doing? But that was fairly spectacular.
Yeah, that sounds pretty extreme.
Yeah.
So I've got a song that's relevant to today.
Oh, good.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through just the way that you do, till the blue skies chase the dark clouds far away. I forgot the words. Uh-oh, I better pull it up. So, oh yeah. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know when you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when. Wait. Don't know where, don't know when, but I'm sure we'll meet again some sunny day.
Very nice.
Oh, nice.
Maybe I'll try it again here in a few minutes, see if I can play it all the way through.
I have another Daniel Ward thing.
That'd be great.
This is from his book. I think this is a newer book called Melodic Meditations, and they're melodic as opposed to arpeggios. And this, I hear a reverberation of myself. Do you hear that?
Yeah, I think once all of us are muted, it'll go away, but for the
Oh,
moment.
okay. So this you can find. It's on the Ukulele magazine website. It was in the recent issue, and I liked it so much I ordered the book. But I think this must be the first one in the book. Okay.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that sounded great.
That's pretty.
I think to get the book, and this is in C, and I think it takes you through all the keys, which is great. I hope he does anyway.
That those two books go together. Like you can play those songs from one book against the other. The arpeggios. Kevin and I played a couple of those where one of us played the arpeggio and the other played a melody.
That's terrific. Yeah.
And they're somewhere on the internet. I'll see if I can find them.
Okay, that'd be wonderful. Yeah. I could do my recording thing where I could play one that I played from one book and play the other one with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Really nice duets if anybody ever wanted to do a duet, but that would have to be an in-person thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that sounded great. Yeah, I like those. I've got both those books, and
yeah.
I started working on one, but I sort of dropped it, and I need to go back to it.
Well, I think this is much more musical and melodic than the other one.
Yeah,
So,
they're both fun to play.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I like the melodic one better also.
Mm-hmm.
Walter, I've got your other song. I see you've got your kazoo ready. You want to play it? You'll have to unmute yourself.
Well, you're still muted.
There you go.
I had wanted to play this old song that was originally sung by Kenny Rogers that was just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. I don't know if any of you remember this song.
I remember it well.
He remembered, yes.
I didn't know it was Kenny Rogers' song, but I remember the song.
Well, he's the one, actually, the very first person to play it, who was, now I can't remember, but it was it was a famous singer. But anyway, this was, I always thought it was a very bizarre song.
It was featured in the Big Lebowski too.
Oh yeah. It was used for the bowling.
Yeah, like flying over the boat.
Yes, one of my favorite movies. Yeah, oh yeah, what condition my condition was in. I woke up this morning with the sun down, shining brown paper bag within. I tripped on a cloud and filed 8 miles high. I saw my mind on a jagged sky. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Yeah, oh yeah, what condition my condition was in. I pushed my soul in a deep dark hole, and then I followed it in. I watched myself crawling out as I was crawling in. I got up so tight I couldn't unwind. I saw so much I broke my mind. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, what condition my condition was in. Now we change keys. Someone painted April Fool in big black letters on a dead end sign. I had my foot on the gas as I left the road and blew out my mind. 8 miles out of Memphis and I got no spare. 8 miles straight up, some down somewhere. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Oh, I just dropped down to see what condition my condition was in. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah.
That's a great song. I remember that song.
Very silly stuff.
Gary, you want to try yours?
I don't think you can hear me tonight. No.
Okay. Yeah, you are kind of breaking up.
Someday when we're in person.
All right, that sounds good.
Although you sound fine right now.
Yeah, it comes and goes.
Sounds like a good title, song title. Someday when we're in person.
You should write that song right now.
Right. Well, I had lunch today with a friend of mine that I hadn't had lunch with in over a year.
Wow.
Because he's so scared of COVID. And but he's had his shots long enough, he felt like crawling out. So
Yep.
Got another good song title.
Right.
Crawling out after COVID.
I'm writing these down. Maybe I'll write it. Not likely, but they're good titles. That would be a blues song.
Too funny.
best title I ever came up with, I haven't written the song yet, is Keeping My Beer Cold Next to My Ex-Wife's Heart.
That is great.
That
Boy,
is
there's
a
song
classic,
right there.
classic right there. You'll already be at the Grand Ole Opry. Sheesh.
Well, I've just discovered that I don't have a real song sheet for Paradise. I've got the words in my collection, but I don't have anything that Kevin, somehow I missed out on getting a song sheet from Kevin.
Yeah, we should all get
Yeah,
these things
the
and
same
have them
ones,
ready
yeah, leave the
for next
same
week.
ones.
Yeah, I've got one that doesn't have any chords on it at all. And I've got some notes written out for what the notes are and stuff, but I don't have a good song sheet. I've got something I can practice from, but it'd be better to have what we were going to use.
Well, I think Marty was gonna send us PDFs.
Yeah. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Helps me when I have
Looks like we're kind of running out of steam.
Well, is everybody game to go into Oscar Blues next week then, if the weather's okay?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, hopefully the weather will be better.
It's at 6, not 7, right?
Yeah, because they close at 8.
I think I might be able to do that since it's
That
early.
plus it's, we don't want to run out of daylight.
Yeah, right. I'd rather leave it during daylight.
So what do we do to run these songs then? Paul and Walter, y'all want to play the songs I sent you and see if you see any mistakes or what have you? I know I need to do Paradise again, not in the numbers format.
Yeah, we
no,
just
it
need
was,
to get rid of those numbers and all the numbers, all the number songs.
Well, I did that earlier.
Yeah, well, the Paradise I played from looked good. It's just that I don't have it here at home. I don't have anything like that to practice from at home.
I don't think it was Paradise that had the numbers in it.
It was Homegrown Tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
Which is
share
the
the
easiest
screen
song in the world to try to use.
I found an old version of Homegrown Tomatoes. I found that one, and I found one that had all the chords in it. So I had a vast collection of Kevin's songs. Apparently, I had printed out everything that he ever sent during this
You have a
year and a
whole
half
big
period I
book.
was going to Hancock Center. And so I have this vast collection. In fact, I caught up on my filing, and they're all filed in alphabetical order in this thing. And there's still some that aren't filed, but most of them are.
Paul, can you let me share my screen?
I'm sorry?
Sure, I can do that. Go ahead. Try again.
Okay, so here's my list that I've got at the on the Google Drive right now. So Cornbread and Butterbeans. Does that look all right to everybody as far as we know?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah.
All right, that one's done. Then Dirty Old Town, I had it in a different key.
Uh-huh.
That's the key that we always played it in that I remember.
Right, that's the key that I was thinking of. I was looking at that earlier because I remember the B minor 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I admit to switching it.
So that one's done then.
Okay.
Then the next one is Happy Trails. Now this is the one where I will take and I'll change. I'll put this in the middle between the two. Does that sound all right to everybody?
That's
Marty?
the way we did, yeah.
But do you
Marty,
want to
I
make
just-
it a key of C?
Yeah, we just sent it to
We
you,
just sent
Marty,
it
the
to
way
you,
we got it
emailed
from
it.
Kevin with that in the
Okay.
middle, so,
Well, this is from Kevin too.
yeah.
So
Okay,
it's just
so
a
Kevin
different
did it two
version.
different ways.
But I'll get rid of this one and put the one that you had then.
Okay.
All right?
Oh, I meant to ask, do we need the text files? Because why don't we just get rid of all the text files and just use the PDFs?
The
Is
text
there a
is
reason
the
we have to
master.
keep them?
Yeah, the text is, you have to have the text because that's what.
Oh, you have to have it, okay.
Well,
Well,
the
if you-
text generates the master. Everybody doesn't have to have it. It's to generate the PDF.
Yeah.
So if
Okay,
you
it
wanna
just
make
seemed
a
like an awful lot
change-
of files, that's all.
If you want to
Well,
make a change, you make it in the text file and then regenerate the PDF.
Ah.
but
Okay.
for distributing to everybody, I agree, we're not gonna send the text files out. You know, you and Paul and I will hammer out, get the songs ready, then we'll get them into PDFs, and we'll send only the PDFs out. So here's Homegrown Tomatoes. Now there's one that I need to change. Are you still recording this, Paul?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. I'll catch that. I gotta make that into regular chords. Now, we like it in this key, in the key of C.
Yeah, those are easy chords.
It's the
Works for
easiest
me.
key.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, then the next one is I'll Fly Away. I think that's a pretty good key, at least for me it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
very simple.
and then Nyquil Blues. I think that generally looks
Very
pretty good.
simple.
What?
I just said it's very simple.
Yeah,
That's good.
all right. So Paradise. I guess we didn't have to change that one.
That worked pretty good, except it didn't say where the breaks were. We wanted to put a break after the second chorus, and we wanted to put one at the end.
Okay, so one right here, an instrumental break, and then end it with an instrumental.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And Texas Cookin. No changes on that, right?
We have to add more chords.
A break might sound kind of funny.
Do we have an instrumental in that one? We don't, do we?
Well, if I have to sing it, it's not going to have an instrumental because I can't.
I never
I would
played
sing.
a kazoo part for that.
And this Trouble in Mind is the one I was telling you.
Oh, we didn't
Yeah, that's a great
practice
one.
this one.
Well,
Is this one really going to be part of the thing?
that's the one I was, at the very beginning of this meeting, I said, this is bad enough, I can't make sense of it yet. I gotta work.
Oh, I
Where's
never
your
had any
song?
problems with it.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, we-
beautiful
Yeah, I
song.
never did either, except that I put it in a different key. So if you insist on keeping the keys, the original keys, somebody else is going to have to sing.
Yeah.
You could do that one.
Trouble in mind, I'm blue, but I won't be blue always. Oh, actually, that should be C. Always. Cause that sun is gonna
Shine.
on my back door someday. I'm going down to the river, gonna take me a rocket ship. And if the blues don't leave me, rock on away from here. Like that.
Yeah. it's a
Okay,
great
well, we
song.
got two people that can sing it. That's good.
There you go.
Well, the point I was making is there's a mistake.
Oh, okay.
Oh, mistakes.
Should be a C7 there.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second
right.
line in the first verse should be C7.
And what I was saying is I need to go over it and make sure there's not any more mistakes. So, all right, well, that's it. That's the end of the list.
All right.
Trouble in mind.
stop sharing. Here it is. Polish all it up, try to get it in a list of PDFs to get to everybody.
That was also from Kevin.
That sounds great. Thanks, Marty.
I'm sorry I'm going to miss it, but it sounds like it's going to be fun and sad, of course. But
Yep. Those kind of things generally turn out being a lot happier than I usually think, because you go over what good times you had, you know?
Right.
Remember the good things.
I think it'll be very nice.
Guess it's been almost a year now. It was funny, last week, somebody said, now, who's this Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
right.
What happens?
I know. It's just weird to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with Kevin was it affected me pretty badly because of what was going on with me at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you remember that's when I just got out of surgery,
Yeah.
and I got a call from Kevin, you know, saying that, how you doing, and that sort of thing. And then the next call I got was from Marty, who said that Kevin had died. And I was just,
Yeah.
you know, it was rough.
Yeah, it was so
That
sudden.
was rough.
It was very sudden and unexpected.
He and I used to go play every other Wednesday at Luby's. We'd sit right out in the middle of the crowd and play and sing, and it's, you know, I don't have the nerve to do that by myself.
Is Luby still there?
That one over on Mopac, I think it's still there.
Still there.
It's still there.
Survived the
Oh.
pandemic.
I thought it had closed down.
Well, I heard that too, but
We
the last time-
went right past it a couple days ago, and it's still open. It's just funny.
Well, that Luby's has been there for a long time.
I think I used to live in that neighborhood and I moved there in '84. I think that it was there when I moved there.
It was, I'm pretty sure it was there in the 80s when I first got to town.
Yeah,
Later than 84, maybe 88.
Yeah, it's only a couple of blocks away from my house.
Yeah.
But I've never been there.
What?
Oh, we used to go.
You're
I
not
used
missing anything.
When I was in my single mom phase, my son and I used to go for dinner every Friday night at Lou and Platter.
I like Luby's.
I do too.
I haven't been there in decades.
We should all go to Luby's.
Well, when I go to my bank, which is not very often, it's right up the street from where I bank. So I go and get a Luann platter, roasted chicken, because they'll give me stuffing and cranberry juice, cranberry sauce, and it's just wonderful.
Get the works.
Fish, fried fish.
Are you able to get out of there without getting any of their desserts? I barely make it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't normally get dessert there now.
Well, I'm gonna check out here.
All right. I think
Okay,
that
nice to see y'all.
Good
Thank
night.
you, Paul.
Thanks,
be seeing
everybody.
everybody
See you next week.
Yeah,
See
thanks
you
a lot,
at
everybody.
Blues.
Bye.
Yes, next
See ya.
week in
All right,
person.
later.
Yeah, see you next
So,
week.
yeah.
Hopefully we can meet at Oscar Blues.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.